Hey, everybody.
Hey there.
Good morning.
Good afternoon. Good morning.
Morning.
Excuse me.
All right. Let's see. I got to get my other glasses. Much better.
Susie's in Switzerland again.
This way?
Susie's in Switzerland again.
It's Harry Potter Hogsmeade.
It's cool looking.
I like it. I have two boring closet doors behind me without that.
Yeah, I've had to move mine all around every time my great grandkids come over. It's like, oh, no, let's put that up. Let's put everything up.
Oh, 10 o'clock. Time to take attendance.
Okay. Who are we waiting on?
The mayor,
Oh, okay.
chief. Oh, he's here.
Yeah.
Indy. Everybody, there they are. Look at that.
Oh, how cool.
We see all of them in one fell swoop.
Are we unmuted?
That means they must have put cameras all over the place.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call the special meeting for December the 15th, 2020 to order. Some members of the city council may participate via telephone or video conference. A quorum may or may not be physically present in the city council chambers. Texas Government Code 551.127A-2. Citizens wishing to make comments should email mcparks80@gmail.com. Citizens' comments received prior to the meeting adjourned will be read to the council. First time the agenda is discussion items. It's item A, the City of Everman tax note for $500,000. It's item number 21039.
Good morning, everybody. I want to thank y'all for taking the time real quick to get with us. Andrew Friedman from Samco Capital is here. He's going to be talking a little bit about the $500,000 tax note and the process behind that. Wanted to take a minute and just fill everybody in. At the last city council meeting, I mentioned that we were having some shortfalls with the $3.8 million bond package that we took out in order to complete all the necessary projects, to include the parking lot. The biggest problem we were faced with was that a parking lot was not considered when taking out the bond package and estimating costs associated with a new civic center. We've estimated those costs and got numbers back from actual engineers and the contractors on exactly what it's going to cost. And we reached out to Andrew Friedman with Samco Capital to get his recommendation on what may be the best approach in order to complete these projects. And he recommended a 7-year tax note, which he's going to explain here in just a second. Reason why we didn't bring this to council first is because we wanted to take this to the Economic Development Corporation and see if we could get their support. The EDC board voted to approve the allocation of their EDC funds towards the repayment of this $500,000 tax. The repayment option, which Andrew, I think will break down a little bit for you, is going to be roughly $70,000 to $80,000 a year, which EDC is going to allocate those funds for. So Andrew, I'll turn it over to you and kind of let you explain the process here.
Thank you very much, Craig. Andrew Friedman. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Pleasure to be in front of you all this morning. As Mr. Spencer alluded to, you've got a shortfall in your project. We've got various means of financing those improvements, the most timely and easiest of which is called a tax note. A tax note requires a single authorization by the city council. So where we've issued where we've issued certificates of obligation 2 different times in 2020, where we have to authorize a notice of intention resolution, publish that in a paper for 2 consecutive weeks, and then bring back bids to the council. The tax note does not require that many steps. And so this would require a single approval by the council. We want to get an informal green light this morning to proceed before bringing back the bids and an ordinance authorizing the sale of those tax notes to you, which based on the timing that I've discussed with staff would be your January 12th council meeting. And so with all of that in mind, where we've accessed the public markets to sell our debt this past go round for the $3.8 million, this would be done in what's called a private placement, where we would put together a private placement memorandum, circulate that to local, regional, and national banks for them to hold in their own account. They would submit bids at noon on January 12th, and we would award the sale to the lowest interest rate bid that we receive, making it the most cost effective of all the bids that we receive. And so I expect that we'd get good interest from banks, especially given your location within the Metroplex and all of the growth that's taken place in and around you guys. For now, I've assumed an interest rate of 1.6% for this 7-year tax note. That's roughly a $75,000 to $80,000 a year annual payment that would be coming from the EDC. It's important to note that the best way to achieve the lowest interest rate for the city is for the city to issue this debt. And a tax note, and you'll see this in the ordinance that comes before you in January, this tax note, the repayment for it is secured by your ad valorem taxes. And I don't want that to frighten you away, because it still allows for the EDC to contribute those funds necessary to make the annual payment. But in the future, if the EDC were to ever not have the financial wherewithal or simply choose not to transfer those funds, that payment does fall back on the city of Everman. So it's secured by the city, not the EDC, but certainly the EDC can transfer those funds to repay the tax note. And that's done often enough with various cities throughout the state. We do it many times a year. So that is ultimately the crux of this process. If you all did decide to move forward, we'd be back at your January 12th council meeting with those bids in hand for you to formally award the sale at that time. So your action or informal action this morning is not obligating the city to issuing this debt. Your January 12th action item would be, and assuming that you all approve it on January 12th, you would have received the funds on February 17th, 2021. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. The tax note is easily the lowest cost of borrowing, the least amount of expense for the city to finance $500,000 worth of these improvements for that parking lot at the Civic Center. So turn it over to you all for any questions you have, or Chief Spencer, if I've left anything out that I should brief the council on.
No, Andrew, I think you did pretty good. The only thing I want to highlight is that on the $70,000 to $80,000 a year, it's important to note that the Economic Development Corporation currently is sitting at just under $600,000 in reserve funds. And their annual budgeted revenue right now is roughly $180,000 this year. So this is not going to negatively impact their reserve funds. and they're still going to continue to build those reserve funds even with this repayment, which is a big reason why they chose to approve this and move forward with making these payments. So I'll answer any questions that y'all have, or Andrew can answer any questions.
Do we have any questions?
So we,
On this note table, it states 525,000.
Yes, ma'am. And that's a very good point. There are cost of issuance to complete this transaction. The bond counsel to do all of the legal work, our financial advisor fee, the attorney general who approves every bond and note issue in the state of Texas. And then we've built in some cushion, not knowing what costs the winning bidder would be putting off on the city. Oftentimes, there may be an annual paying agent fee that we need to account for, and or their own legal representation. And so that $25,000 goes to pay costs of issuance. The annual payment that I've alluded to is inclusive of that money. So when you close on February 17th, the city would receive $500,000, and that's net of all of the costs of issuance.
When is the first payment due?
We're setting up the first payment, given the time of year that we're in, for August 1st of 2021. So that would be roughly 6 months. It's a typical first interest payment date. Bond purchasers don't want to wait typically longer than 6 months. You can push it a year, but it starts costing the city or the EDC money. And so since the EDC has the reserves and is generating the revenue, we would structure it such that we make a first payment August 1st.
Okay, can we briefly discuss now exactly with this amount, what all will it cover?
Yes, ma'am. Let me share my screen here real quick, and I figured
Okay.
that question would come up.
Make sure we get all this.
So up here at the top, you'll see this is what we borrowed, the $3.8 million.
Right.
1.6 of that was allocated towards the water fund projects. 0.2 of that was allocated towards city improvements. When we came in and the Civic Center was estimated, it was only the building, and
Right.
the numbers on the property purchase directly next door to us wasn't calculated correctly. Fire station remodel was a guess. So we've got, we kind of put the cart before the horse, so to speak, when going out and figuring out what these costs. Coming back after the design phase, we've learned that just for the concrete parking lot alone, it's going to cost $334,000. That, coupled with the property purchase next door, which was already approved by city council, has lowered our Civic Center budget significantly. So we're coming up short. Let me put this exact number in here. We're coming up short exactly $503,480. We've already talked to the contractor and backing off on a couple of the architectural things to be able to get this below the $500,000. He has assured us that we will come in under budget. That's one of the reasons why we made the recommendation to City Council to go with Grossman Design Build when we were doing the RFQ, RFP, was that they offered something that no other firm offered, and that was a guaranteed max price option in the contract. They do not like to go over budget, and they don't like change orders. So they add in a beefy contingency in their estimations. So it wouldn't surprise me if we actually came in under budget. Obviously, if we come in under budget and we don't spend all these funds, we can turn right around and allocate whatever's left back towards the principal on both these loan amounts of taxes.
Okay, well, yeah, I was trying to say, now, are we sure we got everything included now this time?
Yes, ma'am. We are nearing the end of the design phase, and let me explain to you the parking lot situation. So
Yeah.
I also explained this to the EDC. This is the walking track that's currently there right now.
Right.
It's not on. Oh, is it taking? Can everybody see the map?
No.
No.
Why is it taking a minute? Okay, let me try this again here.
Well, we know where the walking trail is.
How about, okay,
Okay.
gotta love technology. So this is the walking track, how it currently sits right now. The walking
Right.
track is gonna be rerouted right here and come and bump right up against the edge of this soccer field coming across. The
Mhm.
plan is to come in here and put a 6,000 square foot civic center in placement of where the current annex is, with parking access on both the west and east side. So you'll be able to enter into the parking lot from Wichita Street or from Race Street.
Okay, good.
We could lower the cost of the project by coming in here and doing asphalt. However, that's what we have now. And if asphalt is not maintained every 5 to 7 years, we're going to be spending roughly $120,000 repatching and repairing and repaving. It's going to cost us more money in the long run than if we were to come in here and spend the extra $100,000 more now to have a concrete parking lot.
Yeah.
I've been a big fan of doing things right the first time. I think it's going to be cheaper for the city in the long run. So we'll be able to come in here with this $500,000 and have a concrete parking lot that is going to last many years for our new civic center that'll be built here.
Okay.
I have not seen any designs for the fire station or the civic center. How can you say $800,000 for the fire station? I'm not understanding that. Or the 1 million for the civic center.
Well, these gentlemen, these contractors, this is what they do. This is their profession. They come in and have had several meetings with us regarding designs. This is a sketch that I just got. We're getting very close to the point where they're going to take these drawings and turn them into CAD drawings and 3D renderings. And Grossman has advised me that he will have these actually ready for council in the January council meeting.
Right. Okay. See, this is the first that I've even seen this for as, what it's going to look like. How is it that you can ask for money and not show me what you're asking me to approve? I'm not understanding that.
Well, I mean, before we can engage in designing and architectural work and so forth, we've got to make sure that we have the funds available. So we meet with
right, but I'm saying you're asking for almost $800,000 for the fire department, and you're just now showing us. I guess, is this the fire department that you have up before us, or is this the civic center?
No, ma'am. This is the civic center sketches that we've come up with.
Okay. Now, who determines what's going to be in the civic center or what's going to be in the fire department? Who determines the plans?
Well, we have meetings with the contractors, myself, Mr. Nicoletti, and the assistant fire chief, as well as the fire officers, to talk about what needs there are, what the budget is, what funds we're able to work with, and then they go in with the budget that's been approved from that $3.8 million bond and then the potential $500,000 tax note, and try to achieve our wish list. Once the plans are drawn up and we have CAD drawings and 3D renderings, then we would bring those back to council to present to you all for you to give a final sign off when we go to sign the contract with them and move forward with the project. So they base their cost off the meetings with us, these sketches, what the needs are. For example, with the Civic Center, we talked about how we would like to have state-of-the-art technology here, a larger meeting room with proper storage, adequate bathroom sizes, industrial style kitchen with security available, breakout rooms. All the different things that we've talked about over the years are the things that we share with those contractors. They take those ideas along with code and obviously their design and architectural skill and what the budget is, and put together a plan for us and come back and present that to us. So that's kind of the phase that we're in, is that we have the funds to build the Civic Center. We just don't have funds to include any sort of parking lot along with that. And we would also have to back out of the deal with purchasing the property immediately located next to City Hall in order to complete this without the additional funds.
Yeah, and we did see some pictures of designs for the fire station to have ideas. So we know kind of what we were looking at and the damages that were done before. So we did see that.
When we do the RFP, RFQ, they submit their previous projects and their quality work to give us ideas, designs, and so forth. We're getting very close to getting ready to move forward onto the next step with the fire station. The annex is going to be a couple months behind that. The fire station is going to be project number 1. The Civic Center will be project number 2, because they can only do one project at a time. But he estimated he is supposed to have both 3D renderings, drawings, and plans to us to present to council when the January meeting is held.
So let's say, for instance, that council doesn't agree with something that's on the plan. Is that something that it can be changed?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
You had $42,000 up there for the IT room.
Yes, ma'am.
What is that on the city and coming out of the city improvement, or was that coming out of the 500,000?
No, that's coming out of the CO. So that's actually a part of the fire station project. There is currently in the fire station, if you remember, and I don't know, I don't have the pictures available, but if you remember, I showed you pictures of the electrical room.
Yeah.
That was it was located immediately next to a water heater and is in violation of so many codes. So we have to relocate that room. That room houses the phone system, the computer system, and rather than having the space inside the PD, we're going to locate it centrally between the fire station and the police department. So we have one IT room that feeds both buildings, making it ultimately cheaper for us in the long run.
Why didn't we budget any of these items in the for the fiscal year, the new fiscal year?
These are capital items. It's not really necessarily something that we would be able to fund within our general operating budget. These are capital plans and things that we're going to have to find financing options for or get funded elsewhere. Our general budget wouldn't be able to fund these kind of projects.
Right, but it's say for instance, the 80,000 is going to be coming out of 2021, correct?
What?
I'm sorry.
The step 75 or the $80,000 payment that's coming out of EDC, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
he said.
Okay, and that's going to be the 2021 fiscal year, correct?
Yes.
We have 75,000 already budgeted.
But that's in our current budget,
That's
Johnny.
already considered in the 21 budget. We calculated $75,000 in the capital improvement plan.
But isn't that 75,000 supposed to be for the memorial park?
Mm-mm.
No, there is a $75,000 for the park, yes. There will be a budget amendment for that. Yes.
Do we have any other questions? Okay, I just need a general consensus of council. You guys are willing to move forward with the tax note?
Yes,
Yes.
done.
Yes,
And I really like the idea of the cement parking lot on both sides of the facility.
Correct.
That's an excellent idea.
Okay, we have consensus, so we'll move forward with that.
Okay, Andrew, thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll hopefully
Thank you,
see y'all in
everyone.
person come January.
Have a good holiday.
Have a good
Y'all
holiday.
as well.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, next item, consideration and possible action. Item A, approve and license the license and service agreement with Technologies, item number 21035.
Okay, these next three items are all three related. We just need three individual approvals. One for the approval of the contract with Tyler Technologies. The next one's going to be the approval to spend CARES Act funds on the project. And then the third one's going to be an approval to spend court technology funds on there. So all three of these items are related to each other. Edna with the municipal court, who's here to answer any questions in case you have any, came to me with the idea of converting to handheld ticket writers and using a software that integrates directly with the court system. Our software and the way that we issue tickets right now is through Crimes, but the integration is not very good. She came to me with the plan to use court technology funds to fund this. However, the reason why we're bringing it to you in a special meeting now is because we are nearing the end of the CARES Act timeline. And we still have CARES Act funds that we need to spend, or we'll have to return those if we don't spend them by the end of this month. The equipment associated with handheld ticket writers is covered by the CARES Act. The software training and programming is not, however. So what we're coming to council for is asking for approval to convert to this new software. The short story on it is that there will be $15,616 in the purchase of the equipment, $13,000 from Court Technology funds for the installation, the initial licensing of the software, programming, setup, and training. And then every year after that, the only cost associated with this program will be $952, which we're asking City Council to approve the use of Court Technology funds to pay for that service. Court Technology funds are restricted funds. The way that the Court Technology funds are built there's a small percentage off of each citation that's paid that must legally be allocated towards Court Technology, and they can only be spent on certain items. This qualifies as one of those items, and very similar with the CARES Act funds can only be spent on qualifying items as well. So all of these are funds that have been built up and are sitting there ready to be utilized.
Okay, on this restricted fund, okay, this is not showing in our budget book, is it? Or is it? I saw the technology fund out of the police department, but that's, not considered a restricted fund. So where is this fund?
It's currently in a liability fund.
Right.
We take the money in at the end of the fiscal year, it is swept over to the liability, and we can only take it out with council approval for use on court technology equipment or anything for court.
Yeah, okay, I understand that, yes, but I'm saying, do we show restricted funds in the budget book at all that we got?
Not in the budget book, no.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Okay.
Why isn't it shown in the budget book?
Because the budget book is only revenues and expenses. You'll see revenues of court technology for the year in the budget book, but you won't see the liability portion.
Well, where does the money come from?
It's like a reserve.
It comes from court technology through the payments on a monthly basis for any tickets that people are paying. A percentage goes to court technology. And then at the end of the fiscal year, whatever's left in that revenue account gets swept over and moved over to the liability account to reserve it.
Think of it like a checking and savings account. When we do the budget process, you're looking at the checking account. These funds are already moved over into a savings account and set aside.
Right, but how come we don't know about it? I'm just saying, let me just say this. It feels like we have pots of money sitting around that we don't know are there, and we don't know how it's used, where it comes from, that it gets rolled over, et cetera. And you know what? I'm kind of uncomfortable with that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Unfortunately,
Can we put it in the book, an extra little tab?
Sure, I can add that.
Thank you.
And this actually was something that I've discussed with the auditors just recently, because the whole process of sweeping it over to a liability is not something that I'm used to doing. And
yeah.
Anyhow, I'm working with the auditors trying to change the way that whole process is done. But yes, definitely, I agree with you. It's a little bit confusing, for sure.
It feels dishonest, to use the word.
Yeah.
Is this the first time that we've used this fund?
Yes.
No, well, no, it's not the first time we've used these funds. They used these funds not last year, but the year prior to buy some new software for I have to pull it up, but yeah, there was a court purchase.
Yeah, we have used it before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first time I've heard of it.
It is, yeah. confusing.
Okay, so let me ask this. Is there any money gonna come out of the general fund reserves, whatever that pot of money is called?
No, ma'am.
So tell me again where this money's coming from to pay for all of these goodies that court is asking for.
Okay, part of it will be coming out of the CARES Act, will actually pay for the equipment side of it. So that will be reimbursed from the court, or excuse me, from the CARES Act.
Okay.
And then the actual service agreements and that type of thing will be paid out of the court technology fund.
Okay, how much money do we have in that?
23.
$24,000. So this
How
will not,
much?
this purchase will not drain that account.
We
I
have
didn't hear you. What was the amount you said?
yeah.
$24,000.
Okay, so since there's an annual fee, will that be coming out of there going forward?
Yes, ma'am. That's the plan.
Okay,
So the 13,000 one-time payment and the 952 will be coming out of there.
Yes, ma'am.
and how much is gonna be coming out of the CARES Act?
15,616.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm not looking at any paperwork that came up. I'm winging it here.
No, that's good.
I'm monitoring tests.
Yeah.
Now, will this make our check writing paperless
Our ticket writing?
or ticket writing?
Yes, yes. So essentially the way this works is officers will be carrying, they'll have a handheld ticket writer that's about the size of a large cell phone. They'll be able to scan driver's licenses, scan registration stickers, auto-populates the citation information. They're able to take pictures of the offender or the vehicle. All of that data is wirelessly uploaded into the court system without any need for paper tracking, and it allows us to audit our citation process a whole lot easier. Tyler Technologies is recommended by LT Systems, which is the court software that she is currently using. They integrate very, very well together. Officers will also be able to issue criminal trespass warnings, complete tow sheets, all of that stuff contactless without any paper.
What kind of ticket does the offender get?
They have a printer in the vehicle. We already have those printers. They have printers in the vehicle that once the citation is complete, they hand them a paper copy of the citation. But as far as internally, we don't have any paper or any documents going back.
Okay.
All electronic.
Okay. Are we going to purchase the extended warranty on all of these new gadgets?
They all come with warranties and are funded, and there will be a time down the line where we'll have to put into a replacement plan, just like we do with the rest of our equipment. And every 3 to 5 years, we'll have to look at replacing or cycling out some of our equipment. They take trade-ins and things like that. But that's part of the reason why we don't want to drain the core technology funds. We want that fund to still have a base level and continue to build. So when that time comes, we can come back and revisit the core technology funds to keep this project funded without touching our general.
Yeah, I agree.
So for training, how often do you have training?
They'll come out and the company themselves will do virtually, actually, will do training one time for all of our staff. At that point, they have a liaison that's assigned to us that when we have any questions or problems, we can reach out to that liaison. And then the police department staff will be in charge of training new hires and new staff that come on board on the software.
But Tyler Technologies also offers an annual conference.
Susan, I can't hear you.
Sorry about that.
Oh, much better.
Tyler Technologies offers an annual conference where Edna or someone from PD can go and get any updates on any of the technology, any additional training that they may need. And it's very good. I've actually been to several of the Tyler Technologies. I've worked with them for at least 15 years. They're a great company, very common in the municipal government. So, yeah.
Yeah, this software that we're going to is the exact same software that's used by Forest Hill Police Department and Delaware Gardens Police Department. Both of them recommended that we look at this option. And since we have CARES Act funds that we need to spend because we've come in well under budget on some of our other items. It's either spend it or lose it. It seemed like a good opportunity to seize to make sure that we spend that $15,000. Otherwise, we'll have to return that to the government, the federal.
Okay, you say
No,
use
no.
it, you say use it or lose it. How much more do we have to spend?
Not that much. We're down to the wire and we've pretty much allocated all of it. We've been working very hard on this over the last couple of weeks to make sure that we spend all of these funds. So there's not much more left, if any.
Yeah, I believe that the last of the funds we'll be able to sweep up and use under payroll for PD. So I believe that we have every dollar accounted for now. So
Good job.
Look, I didn't read all of all of these pages. What is who's on the City of Everman Steering Committee? What exactly is that? And it talks about the different projects.
Where are you seeing that, ma'am? I'm sorry.
Where,
That was on just flipping through. It was talking about the different each phases of the project on page 9, 5.2, and it was saying the City of Everman Steering Committee.
Yeah, so the steering committee it's just a fancy term for staff that's going to be assigned as directing the project, which will essentially be Edna and I, along with Susan, putting the project together. The actual project manager is going to be Edna. She'll take care of getting all the communication done between Tyler Technologies and the City of Everman. She'll be handling that whole project.
Okay, so that's what they're considering. They're talking about when they're talking about projects.
Yes, ma'am. Steering committee. In other words, just who's going to be directing where the project goes.
okay,
Let me go ahead and see if I can get a motion on this for item number 21035.
okay, I make a motion to approve 21035 as read.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Poll the council.
Place 1,
Aye.
place 3,
I
place 4,
Aye.
place 5,
Aye.
place 6,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
motion carried.
Item B, approve and authorize the payment of $15,616 of CARES Act funds to Tyler Technology for the purchase of equipment and software associated with license and service agreement, item number 21036. I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve item number 21036 as read.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Poll the council.
Place 1,
Aye.
place 2, or sorry, place 3,
I
place 4,
Aye.
place 5,
Aye.
place 6,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
motion carried.
Item C, authorize one-time payment of $13,000 and annual reoccurring payment of $952 of court technology funds, restricted funds to Tyler Technologies for the services, installation, programming, setup, training, and annual service associated with license and service agreement. Item number 21037. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve 21037 as read.
I second it.
Any further discussion? Edna, you got anything you want to throw in? You hadn't said a word over there.
I'm so
Okay.
glad it was just approved.
All right, would you poll the council?
Place 1,
Aye.
place 3,
I
place 4,
Aye.
place 5,
Aye.
place 6,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
motion carried.
Okay, item D, approve City of Everman Personnel Policy Amendment titled Section 3.09 Additional Benefits, C, Health Insurance, item number 21038. I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve number 21038 as read.
Second.
Motion made and seconded.
Yeah, this is just, we talked about having an opt-out policy with the health insurance benefits. I wanted to make sure that we had an actual policy drafted, implemented, and approved by council to include in our personnel manual. So that's what this is. This will be incorporated in the personnel manual permanently once it's approved by council.
Okay, let me ask you real quick. I know we talked about the cash incentive.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Was that a certain amount, or is it kind of going with what they're having to pay on their insurance?
We didn't want to put a dollar amount into the policy because that dollar amount can fluctuate annually depending on what the benefits come back as and what council decides on. Council decided this year with the benefit package as a $250 incentive. Right. So this year it will be a $250 incentive. Council will have the opportunity every year to revisit that and change that dollar amount if you so choose. And we'll obviously make recommendations as we move forward.
And that's $250 a month, correct?
That is correct. Yes, ma'am. $250 a month.
Okay, now on the first line, it says there's no cost to the employee. That's referring to what?
That refers to that we provide full-time employees and health insurance at no cost to the employee at all, unless they choose to.
The employees don't pay any insurance other than going to the doctor, their copayment?
Correct. They do not pay for insurance for themselves at all. Now, they do pay, if they elect to cover dependents at all, they do pay for the coverage of those dependents. But the city covers the health insurance benefits for the employee 100%.
Any other discussion?
Stand now.
Place 1,
Aye.
place 3,
Aye.
place 4,
Aye.
place 5,
Aye.
place 6,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
motion carries.
Okay, with that being said, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
holiday.
Aye.
Thank you. Happy
Bye.
holidays.
Bye. Have a good holiday.
Bye, y'all too.
Bye.